What is up, gamers? This is Toukiden. Exciting episode of the Gaming Roundtable. I hope everyone is having a good night tonight. I have had my beautiful fiance. We have had some amazing times and adventures today, and I'm happy to report that all is well on our end. And I want to tell you all right away that thank you for tuning in advance to Monster Hunter Week. Today, January 13th, we have Toukiden 2, one of my favorite games. But before I get into that, before I get into Toukiden 2, I'm going to talk a little bit about who sponsors me and who I'm affiliated with and a part of and glad to be part of. That's Unpaid Gamers on YouTube.com. That's right, Unpaid Gamers. Please like and subscribe to those channels. I got a couple new followers today. I want to give them a shout out. Thank you for following me on the PlayStation network there. And that's really nice of you all to stay tuned and like my content. But check out Posthuman Guy. He's playing a little bit of Demon's Souls on the PS5, no less, and the Master Chief Collection Xbox Series X or Xbox One, one or the other. And I'll show you a little bit about that. And check out, as always, the man, the myth, the Apex legend, Banloss. My man Rob kicking ass on this season and taking names. You feel lucky, join his game, but you probably won't end up good. Made by my friends and one of my favorite developers, Omega Force, who created Toukiden series out of the handheld Toukiden Kiwami which was the first game in the series, because they didn't want Monster Hunter to be the only handheld monster hunting game out there. This is the sequel to Toukiden Kiwami. Now, Toukiden Kiwami is the game that kind of it was born out of that. It's a more action-oriented, focused, basically your basic focused type of Monster Hunter game with the flavor of Dynasty Warriors kind of kicked in. Just a flavor. It's not really a be-all, end-all. But Toukiden 2 is actually an open world and is seamless and is a very massive and huge world that you can explore. One of the things, before I really discuss Toukiden 2 and different things about it, because I think it needs to be said that a lot of the people who are big Monster Hunter fans, for example, and people who are God Eater fans, and people fans of Toukiden, God Eater and 3 in particular, and Toukiden 2 and Monster Hunter World all have been competing for that King of the Monster Hunt genre thing. And a lot of people do not like, they think that Toukiden 2 is incredibly easy. It's not hard. I can use my Demon Claw there to get around. It's kind of like the Claw in Monster Hunter World that they kind of mimicked them and or borrowed by this Demon Claw, even though Demon Claw is a little bit more useful than that. I want to say, though, they have been this... the thing is I don't really understand sometimes some of the hate spewed for this game or this series, because to be honest with you, it is a very good series. It's very well put together and well done. It may not hold the same level of graphics fidelity as Monster Hunter World, for sure, but it does have incredible combat and does do a lot of things that I wish Monster Hunter did. When I talked about its lock-on camera, boom, it locks on. Look, it just focuses on the creature. And I wish that this game did that. It doesn't do that, and I wish it did. And Monster Hunter doesn't do that. And again, I don't understand why we can't have a traditional lock-on camera in Capcom's game, but we just don't. And I love the more traditional lock-on. The game is much more action. Excuse me, much more action-focused, and has. Again, the same kind of premise. You are going to hunt monsters. You are going to fight Oni. There are Oni dragons in the game. There's a lot, especially in the later game, similar to Monster Hunter World. And you will take those parts and you will build things out of it. One of the things that, to me, that sets apart, I'd have to say, probably sets apart Monster Hunter from Toukiden 2 is Toukiden 2, like God Eater, you can use your NPC companions, and believe me, they are programmed very well. You ask them to follow, they follow you. It's very nice. I can also turn on the Eye of Truth, which lets me see, let's see here, I haven't done it in a while, which lets me see the current enemy's health. And I like that. It's not infinite. It does take your stamina to do that, but it lasts for some time. I think it takes your stamina. No, it doesn't. I'm thinking of the first game. And it's just one of those games that I just really have a huge love for, because I love the more high-octane action, more oriental focused kind of game. It's just great. And I love it. And the reason I think I like it so much is because in the very first chapter, for example, of this game and Kwame, yes, it will feel a little easy to you. But once you get into the late stages of Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 in particular, that's where the game really shines and starts to ramp up the difficulty. You do not have to travel with NPCs in the open world like I'm doing. You want that challenge? There's your challenge. Go ahead and turn them off. But I like to use them because they do res you, they do heal, they do things along that lines. That red chest that I just passed, you see there, this is cool because even though you can play online, you can leave stuff for your other characters and or other slayers. And I just got the ceremonial leggings that someone had left, and because it has that, even though it's online, even when you're playing in the offline mode, it has that subtle online thing, kind of as Dark Souls does, where everyone's kind of playing the game and doing what they need to do. And I do like these aspects of the game. And your Demon Claw was an addition to the game, and it can be focused as a traversal thing like this. You can use it to claw into monsters, as you've been seeing me do. On top of that, you can, on top of all that, you can actually use it to as an attack weapon. You actually build it up, and you can rob Oni of their part of their abilities and use it as like a giant fist or giant sword. It just depends on what you're fighting. And also sometimes you come across elements in the game world, which I'll show you one. Let me get my super fast run. Every Oni has this blistering speed run that lets you get around really quickly. That takes your stamina, but it drains pretty slowly, as you can see here. But if I take this fire, for example, oh, I didn't take it, but let me grab this. This is like a fire element. You gotta grab it, you take it, and now I can sit there and use that and to either absorb, give myself fire attacks, or just simply attack with it. Toukiden has, again, this action. See, now I have flames on my weapon. It allows you to absorb. You find these throughout the game world. They last so long. They're not infinite. They only last for a few seconds or whatever you want to say. There are little items to actually bother with, to pick up on the ground, as you can see here. And again, your NPCs make pretty short work of that. Now, you don't have to worry about equipping your NPCs or anything along that lines, and that's a good thing, and because you just kind of have to focus on your character. Of course, there's elements in the game like just the other game worlds. There's fire and water and light and all the other stuff, different types of elements in the game. You can talk to this guy here. You got to find the 3 hidden brothers in the area. There are desert worlds, ice worlds. There's a whole lot of a variety of places to explore and secrets to find in the game's open world. And unlike Monster Hunter, which is more of a hub-based open world, where the map is large, but it is not it's not as large as this game world, because it is Toukiden's game world is very massive and lets you to run around and do what you want to do and fight creatures and whatnot. If I want to go back to town, for example, in this little base camp here, I can hit this rock here, and I want to show you a little bit about how you do certain things in the game. The debate between the games has always been, some people feel like that Toukiden 2 does not have, we'll go, let's see, back to the village, does not have, you know, again, its difficulty is not there. People feel like it's too easy, or they feel, and other things is they feel like it's just too action focused. It's not really a Monster Hunter game. People have gone so far and say it's not really a Monster Hunter genre in this traditional sense. I 100% disagree with that, because that's what Toukiden Kiwami was founded on, and the Toukiden series was the Monster Hunter-like aspects. And you see here, my character, let's see here, let me go into my home here. My character here is currently using a Skyrim Naginata. I have your Holy Guard armor +3 and +2, which you actually upgrade your armor in the pluses. Charm gloves, and you have your Mitama, which is how you get a variety of effects and heals and things like that. They're like spirits that you've rescued from the Oni. I have a Skyrim Naginata, large Naganaga, a monk pole. They did add 2 new weapons to this game that wasn't in the first game. I'll go into the blacksmith so I can show you. So if I want to create a weapon, what they added was a sword and shield, which the sword and shields are they're really fun to use. And they all have different things here. So like if I go into here, for example, Torrent Shield, this says an elegant sword and shield featuring markings of watercress. So it's a water sword, and it says enemy attacks are knocked aside as if in water, allow for a counter. And they just got these beautiful designs, and I love that fact that it does have these designs. It tells you a little bit about its attack and what you need to make it. In this game, sometimes you find multi-purpose rocks, which will actually take the place of an entire, like, let's say that tiger pelt. If I had a multi-purpose rock, it would take the place of that, and I could build said weapon. You got your wind force. This blade cuts through wind, creating a vacuum that boosts attack and defense. Each weapon all have something about it, special uniqueness about it. The rock stopper, that heavy and hard to wield, but to make up, they have very high power. The ripple shield says it is a cold front in Mistwinter. The rapid slashes can quickly freeze, so you can freeze an enemy. You have just different ones that you can build. One of my favorite things is the chain whip. Excuse me. And you, again, same thing. Water splinter, freely. It's a very fast attacking weapon. Wind strike whip, rock wind whip, wave wind whip. They just do different things, and can call forth lightning strikes. That's pretty neat. And you can upgrade stuff. The Ophidian whip, serpent whip, and the whips are actually really versatile. You can do a whole lot with them, and they're really, really amazing to play as. They're a lot of fun, and I actually can build that if I wanted to. But you do have long swords, and you can see the different models here, and they kind of get more elaborate as they go. And it's really neat, just some of the designs in this game. And you'll get tons and tons of weapons and different armors as you go through the series. There is the unnamed sword, the Mazamune sword, which is again a really powerful sword, based on one of the great swordsmiths of yesteryear. And Mazamune was a sword designer that made stuff way ahead of its time. And an Vermo sword, melted down Brute Claw materials. Brute Claw is an Oni creature in the game. The runes described by increased weapons sharpness and strength. Just a beautiful sword. You have your knives, of course, your double daggers. Those are fun. You've got your spear. You have gauntlets. Believe it or not, the gauntlets are just a blast. They're so much fun to play. There's the Neo gauntlets. You know, they do different things. And they are very powerful. They may be a little slow, but you actually have a lot of attacks with them. You have the Sickle and Chain, another weapon that I really have enjoyed playing as. Shadow Sickle, Shinobi Rebel Sickle, Vermo Sickle. And you got a bow. The bow in this game, they're just devastating, and can do a lot of different attacks. And again, I love all the different designs for all the different weapons. They're just beautifully designed. And one of the things that I will say about the game that's different from Monster Hunter is the fact that when you kill a creature in the game, let's say I'm fighting a man-eater, which is like this Oni spider-looking thing, you knock off their parts as you play them, and then while you're still battling them, and like Monster Hunter Recarve, you actually purify those parts, and then you obtain those parts. If you kill the creature in its entirety, you can do a complete kill and take every part there is. So really, right off the bat in the game, like right off, not more than past a couple missions, you can actually go ahead and build a set of armor and weapons, or nearly a full set of armor, or a couple different weapons. You got your clubs here, your gravel maker, whirlwind club, and then you got your Naginata, which is what I'm using. I am using the Naginata. It's one of the weapons I do enjoy using. And of course you have a rifle. If you like your, like in Monster Hunter, you have like your bow, your light heavy bow gun and stuff. This is the equivalent. The guns are a lot of fun to play as. You wouldn't think they were, but they are in this. They pack a lot of punch and impact. They're beautiful, again, beautiful designs on the models. Look at that. That is just a cannon right there. And again, they're really nice. And you can actually look at each weapon. If I zoom in, you can see this, the detail on all the weapons. If you want to rotate it, you want to move it, that way you can see what you're looking at before you make it. And I like that aspect of the game, so that you can actually zoom in and see each weapon. Now it doesn't do a preview mode where you can see it on your character, but you see, I mean, just again, beautifully designed. There's a lot of artwork and design that's designed into here. I love this earth rifle, for example. Again, just of the weapons, and I've always liked the weapons. When you get into, you can fortify your weapons by increasing its attack and dex. It shows you what it can do. It contains the power of wind and lightning, which is nice. It does wind and lightning damage. When you get into armor, which you can fortify and reforge by putting other armors together, again, same thing. You have different abilities, and those are your elements there. You got your fire, your water, your earth, your wind, and what they do. A lot of people has asked, when they play the game, like, what is Aegis? And Aegis actually is I think it's your ability to, in armor, Aegis is like your ability to defend against certain types of attacks. I'd have to look into it again because I don't remember. I've looked into it before wanting to know what it is. And again, you can always see what your character's stuff looks like. A lot of the armor in the early game is very much kind of based on like a more Japanese kind of look, and feel to it. So, but right now, what I am using is what you see here. You do have your standard shopkeeper. He sells materials, which is great. You can sell materials. He does sell different weapons. But I want to show you, you saw me using a Naginata, but like, I love the fact that, let me go into here. I'm going to create a weapon just to kind of show you. So I'm going through my whips, and it looks like I can make the Ophidium whip. But I see my dexterity goes up, which is kind of what you want. You want to have a high dex when you're using these type of weapons. Even if one does a little bit more damage, it's better off to do this. So we're going to make it. It's going to create it. I'm going to equip it. And if I want to fortify the weapon, for example, that's what's equipped. I can increase its attack and dex and just make it a +1 as long as you have the materials. I think all weapons and armor can be go up to +9, I believe. This is going to say activated skills. Steals a large amount of health when using least. Increase effectiveness and might. Protection, only throw. Draws the only attention. We'll go equip boosts. So you have to have so many boosts, when you equip them from your character, excuse me, the Matama, Minamoto no Yoshitsune. And you can pick different things that you would like to have. There's different things along that lines, so, and that's basically what it does is, go ahead and get rid of that because that's fine doing that. So now that I've activated, I've got a new weapon, a chain whip. If you ever, one of the nice things I like about the game, if you ever want to know how to do any single move in the game, you can do all the different training. It'll teach you every weapon, and you can get into the different styles, the attack style training, defense style, how to use them. These are your Matama. It will teach you those Matama skills. Your speed style, healing style, spirit style, deceit style, space style, luck style, support style, plunder style, control style, demon, and then you get into the demon hand. And the different styles are going to be your different builds and what you can do with them. And so it's really nice to have that. And but the chain signal is great. So I'm going to go over here, and go back outside and show you a little bit about how this works. And we're going to do that. And we're going to put that's a free attack. But if I'm sitting here whipping it around, as you see here, I can do this and throw those out. And you can actually throw those out onto an Oni and attach yourself to them. Or if I'm, for example, doing that, I can hold down, let's see here, I can do this, hold it down, and you can actually attach yourself to it and draw yourself in. It's really nice, actually, the way that they set this up. And every weapon does feel very different from the next. It is a much more faster game, and the faster game than I'd say any of the other Monster Hunter style games out there. I'm gonna go back and grab that because that's something you gotta do. I'm gonna go ahead and get these things. By the way, in nighttime you saw these little Oni's eyes are glowing. All Oni, including the bigger creatures that you fight in the game, are stronger at night. So things are a little bit tougher to defeat and do a little bit more damage. That actually leads you into, I can't get there yet because it's still in the early game, but this fortress eventually leads you into Chapter 2 and 3's open world areas. Once the gates open, you can freely walk into them. And we're just going to do this here, jump down, and go ahead and attack these things. And do this. Alright. And again, the chain whip is actually a very powerful weapon. And what I'm doing is purifying these, as you can see here, and getting the parts from them. I got a red eye. It's random every time you go out in the game world. What any kind of big creatures are going to show up, or what you want to do as far as that is concerned. We're going to go over here. Toukiden 2, mission structure is very similar to Monster Hunter. You're going to accept a mission. It's very story driven. There's a lot of NPCs, and you're trying to stop these Mitama. Your character actually is from the future. You got sucked into an Oni portal. It took you like 10 years into the future. And that's basically what's going on here. We're going to go down here. See what we got here. Again, there's a lot of exploration. The minimap, I will say, can at times feel a little bit difficult to read. I don't know why. Even though you can, if you zoom all the way in, it is easy to see where the roads are and where some things go. But I would prefer, I wish the game, when you're zoomed out, it would be a little bit easier to read. And I have struggled sometimes on some missions where you're like, I gotta go what direction? Let's go back up here and fight this guy here, like we did before. And I'm gonna do my super. If you hold down and circle and keep attacking, this takes up your stamina, but you can sit there and hit it over and over again. It's really nice. Stamina will return, you know, which is nice. So what I'm gonna do too is this. I'm gonna boom, hit him with these pieces that I'm throwing out, for example. And you can do, once you throw those out, for example, I'm going to throw those out. If you hit back and square, you can actually, if you can get it to where it will hit like that, see, and it makes them explode, and you'll do a backflip attack. And all the combat things that you can do with all the weapons, everything is very subtle. And we pretty much slaughtered that one. That's actually a medium Oni. It's actually not hard to fight. We're going to go up here. Go back up here. And I love that. Now there's this question mark here. And now this group of Oni. These little events show up, and again it's randomized, but you gotta fight. Again, it's an event, and you come across these events here and there in the game, and with your characters. And this is just a good way to gain parts and small things that you need. In the early game, is I always recommend do the events. I love, like I said, Toukiden's action. I love the fact that it has a good lock on camera. It does things better than Monster Hunter World in many ways, and it has some strengths where Monster Hunter has weaknesses and vice versa. But I favor this series more than Monster Hunter. I love Monster Hunter, and as I talked about, Monster Hunter is pretty much the premier game. But Toukiden 2, in my opinion, is right up there with it, and it's an excellent, excellent title, and always good. And again, I've had people say they get bored with it, or they say it's too easy, but in all honesty, it's not. It does really pick up some of the difficulty later. Some of the later creatures, especially after Chapter 3, you can get one-shotted, two-shotted. You got to be careful and make sure that you have your builds. Now down here is a spider web. I might be able to fight one of the one of the better, one of the first actual true Oni you fight, which is takes some time to kill. And we're gonna fight these things. Go ahead and get them knocked out and fight them. Like I said, the chain whip is awesome, and I think that comes from my love of Castlevania, where you have like a whip to use as a weapon, and I was very happy that they added this weapon in the game. And again, it's always good to always fight these little creatures, and the reason that is because it's just useful. Another one of those red boxes. I can check it and see if anybody's put anything in it. Boom, there we go. I got that. That actually is attack. Make it explode. There we go. Take them out. And again, your NPCs will fight just good, and you can actually command them with free, aid, follow, attack. If you put on free, they always attack. If you put on follow, they basically defend and then attack when they have the opportunity. But I always just keep it on free because they will take care of all these little guys. It's good to actually keep them, to have them because of that reason. Let's see here. Let's go. Oh, we gotta go over here. I love this super run that you have. Let's see if anybody's left anything. Yep. Someone left some ceremonial gloves. Most people will leave stuff, and it's kind of neat. Let's go back here. Oh, there's more spider guys. Spider looking on them. Already pretty much wiped them out. They're nothing. And again, during the day, the Oni is easier to fight during the day. It's great. And Toukiden 2's more action-oriented, focused gameplay. I'm a fan of. Let's go ahead and get rid of these guys. Easy, easy, easy. Again, when I dodge, I do take some stamina when that happens. Let's do this. Get rid of all these guys. Get rid of that. And then there's some more showing up. I'm going to get rid of all them. I can do this and break this down, and then a manhunter is going to attack, which is one of the bigger Oni right here. And that's a big boy right there. He's got some stuff. There is his. You got to knock down his first health bar, which is like his Oni spirit, and then you do that. But we are pretty much going to decimate him. It doesn't matter. We're going to fight this thing. It's kind of hard to see. It's best to try to draw him back out over here. Again, he's taking some damage. I can heal. What you do with the healing is you hold down that, you see recovery. I'm going to put on might, which makes my attack stronger. And we go over here. I'm going to hit him with this stuff. I'm going to hit him with a major attack here. And knock him down. There we go. So, as you see, his parts have already hit the ground. And unlike where you, instead of carving, you're going to purify them. And he will have a second, so you can get the parts, so you can build things with those parts and whatnot. It does take a second. You gotta wind it down. We're gonna do that. I'm gonna hit him with this, a couple of these, maybe cause some explosions. And I'm gonna hit him. Oh, didn't get him. Yeah, a little bit. Another creature's kind of fought him. We're gonna go ahead and get these parts, so they don't forget about them, because you want to get everything off of these. Got a manhunter sickle. He's going to go into his secondary form. So this is important to stay away, because it will do a lot of damage. You can interrupt it. It's not easy to interrupt. Let me go ahead and try to get this part. See here. We got his health is almost there. Got another part down. There we go. Destroy those. Oh, I got my see, I'm attached to him by accident. I gotta wait for him to come back. But I do have a special, and I do have an all where all my characters come together and do one super attack. I'm gonna heal because I'm in dire need of some health, because it does do a lot of damage. Let's do this, okay. Do this, get my... do a super attack, there we go. And he's about dead. Yeah. he got defeated. And then you're going to go over here. You still have to purify him, and that's one of my. You do have side quests, and one of them is defeat one of these and a wind shredder. And you do get side quests. You do get stuff. So I got a bunch of parts there. You're going to want to go up here, this little secret area, and you can climb up walls, like I said. Boom, and do that. And these are nice little secret areas. Sometimes you find things. And this is a backdoor into the Toukiden mines. And I like that because a lot of the maps do have that Dark Souls like you find other entrances to other things into, and I like that aspect of the game. We're gonna fight those guys. Go ahead and do this. We're gonna go back though. Actually, I have done this before, but it came back. But there was a crest up here that I had to get. We're gonna jump down. Jump down. Okay. We'll run back. We'll stop and get that. And again, the game has a lot, like I said, once you start opening up the areas and the chapters and you get the entire open world, you could spend hours just farming, exploring, and doing a variety of things. We're going to go up here. We're going to go back to town. I love the little super speed run. It's great. And, wait a minute, let me go talk to her, because she might give me a side quest. Let me do that real quick. I'm going to stop that. Okay, now she just mentions there's a spider down there, the big Oni thing. So we're going to go, keep going this way. Go back to town real fast. Let's do that. And, again, Toukiden 2, why I just love it. It's just, I love the aesthetics of it. I love the combat. I love the faster pace that it does. Let's go ahead and knock these guys out. Yeah, they're done. Yeah, they're nothing. You do have that onslaught and curse. Those are specials that you can throw out that boosts and gives you different bolsters, some of your attacks and different things. Yeah. So we go back into town, and I'll show you now that I've gotten some parts. We're gonna go back into town. All my items have been delivered to the chest. I'm gonna run over here, go to the blacksmith. And again, now that I can't really necessarily create anything really new, but I can make the Vermor sword now, which is nice because it's got a multi-purpose. I can actually go down here, and there's the Stygian, and the Stygian armor is one of the things you can get from the Manhunter, and you can get different. You can get these, and this is the entire armor set for the Manhunter, and they give you different things. Hey, wait, I went too far. Go down. So like the Stygian Hair Getter says, it's with the power of the Manhunter, gives you different pluses and minuses like you've seen in Monster Hunter. It's always really good. I like the fact, again, to say always save, and you do have like this lady. She runs the restaurant. You can get her parts and get recipes. You get the story. Tells you a little bit about what's going on in the story, which is nice. You can listen to the music. You can go to Slayer headquarters, pass the Right of Truth, so that's good there. And again, it's just got it ticks all the Monster Hunter vibes. It says, hey, do this, do that, do this, and you meet different NPCs in the story. The story is a lot more fleshed out, I think, than most, and it's very, very, it's just it's well done kind of story, and kind of gets into the history of the game world and the Onis they're attacking and all that stuff. So, and that's what I mean. Like, if you are a fan of any kind of Monster Hunter genre, this should be in your library. Fast combat, great. You know, love, again, the lock on camera is solid. Lots of different parts and things you can fight. You fight a lot of different types of Oni. I mean, really huge stuff. To even dragons are in the game, so you'll fight them and you'll get their parts. You can make some. There is some pretty amazing looking weapons and armor that you'll get into the late game. The open world is fun to explore, and it's totally worth the time and effort. And I really hope Omega Force gives us a Toukiden 3. I really want to see that coming up. I hope that they definitely come and make another one, because I'm a fan. big fan of the series, and I've talked very good about it. And there are many things about it that I like over Monster Hunter World and God Eater 3, and there's some things that God Eater 3 and Monster Hunter do a little bit better. But you can't go wrong if you're going to pick another easy to pick up, hard to master kind of game in the Monster Hunter genre. That you can look no further than Toukiden 2 by our friends at Omega Force. Thank you, Omega Force, for not only Toukiden, but my favorite series, Dynasty Warriors. Well, this has been another episode of the Gaming Roundtable, January 13th. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe to the channel. Please check out Posthuman Guy, Leisure Plays, Ban Loss on the Apex Legends, and of course me on the People's Machine, still bringing you Monster Hunter Week, all this week. And thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe to the channel, check out Unpaid Gamers, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Gaming Roundtable. And as always, gamers, good gaming.